Internet damage report. It's your boy Faceless One. It's been a lot going on, a lot to unpack. How can I start? Where can I start? Last time on the channel we was talking about mass deportations and the stuff Trump was taking the people through. It's a lot going on with that situation still. It's a lot going on with the mass deportations. They ramped it up. They said that they wanted 1,500 people arrested every week. These is from different areas, so I guess they want the numbers to boom up. 1,500 people a week? I think those numbers need to get higher. I don't know. I'm just talking. The mass deportations, they want 1,500 people every week. They said they're willing to pay you $750 U.S. citizens to turn in any immigrant, migrant. You turn them in, you get $750. There's been a couple false things going on. People were saying something about they was going in schools. I even had a video up talking about the girl was talking about they was going into schools. I guess that was false. That was about something else. But yeah, ICE is really doing their thing, their job. What else is going on? Mass deportations. Oh, the amendment. Now, this one right here, it's a little iffy. Well, I don't know what to say, cause there's a lot going on with that one. The people of America is hearing, and I don't know, there's a lot of people on TikTok saying something about it, so you really can't follow what's going on. But supposedly all the Native Americans, the Indians, know those guys, you know what I'm saying? They are trying to deport those people. Where the hell they gonna take them? I'm just saying, because they were saying they was natives, but I don't know. They look like they can be Mexican to me. I'm not trying to sound racist. They look like they can be Mexican. Just saying. But some of the people on TikTok saying that these people come from Siberia? Siberia? I don't know. It's just people talking, I guess. What else? Mass deportations, the amendment rights. People finding out what the DEI stands for. They're finding out that most of that was set up in play for immigrants coming over into America. They wanted to get jobs, benefits, and stuff like that. And then it was for white women, the Beckys, and the Karens, and the Stephanies. That was what it was for. But I don't have no problem with it. They gonna still get their money regardless out here in this world. You know what I'm saying? But helicopter crashed into an airplane last night about 9 o'clock. But it was a video, I think I got that video, of a girl saying that it got posted 6 hours before it happened. Now that is pretty wild. What is going on? The story says that the plane crashed, but it was 6 hours before it even happened. That's pretty bizarre right there. I don't know. But what else? I don't know. I've seen a couple things, right? But a lot of things going on, man. A lot. Just know people are working. Oh, and I got me on TikTok trying to boost my channel up on there, or my page up. I don't know what you call it. My area, my section on TikTok. I just uploaded this video, last battle clip out of there about one of the Rockefeller guys. It's getting a lot of plays right now. Last time I looked at it, it was 11,000 plays, 1,000 some likes. 10% of the people that see the video is liking it. Just put it like that. It's right at 10%. That's crazy, ain't it? The amount of people that be woke up, seeing stuff. It'll only be a small percentage, but 10% of the people see that. But it's getting a lot of play and stuff, so they go into details. The documentary, Last Battle, it's about basically everything that's going on right now. I tried to upload it on my page, but it's on my YouTube, but it has some stuff on it that YouTube is not going against community guidelines, so I had to take it down. Well, I didn't take it down. It's supposed to be getting edited for get the parts cut out of the video. It's supposed to be getting edited, but it's not getting edited. I don't know what's going on with the video. It's kind of irritating me. The last battle. Boy, Faceless One, Internet damage report. It's a lot been going on, man. And I just want to add to all that I've just been saying. The documentary is about a lot of stuff that's going on. I don't know if I said the name right. It's about white people. It's about Jews. It's about white society. It's about how they think. And then it's about how Hitler And I'm not painting him in no good light. In the documentary, it says that he was a good man. I posted the video on TikTok about it, and they said it went against community guidelines. Hate speech. I'll show y'all that later on off the video. Anyways, I've been having a wonderful hell of a time trying to figure out everything that's going on. So much chaos on TikTok. So much chaos out there in the news. So much chaos, people don't even know what they're talking about. So, one thing you're going to have to do out here nowadays is research the info on y'all. Just know, this is tiring. That's the reason why I haven't been doing this. I had to take a break because there's a lot going on. I probably missed a lot. I probably didn't talk about some of the stuff because there's so much going on. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoy these clips. It's your boy, Faceless One, Internet Damage Report. Subscribe, and I'm out.
I need you guys to be very careful about what you believe from the mainstream media going forward. Like, more careful than you have ever been. We all know about the airliner that crashed with the military training helicopter. But some further digging has shown that CNN put out articles hours before the crash ever happened. So it is 1:30 Eastern Standard Time right now. That means that this crash happened 4 hours ago. If you look at these screenshots, it clearly shows articles from CNN 6 hours ago. When I heard about this, what I said to myself was, wow, that almost seems like too irresponsible. How do you have a military training helicopter in that airport airspace training while you have huge jet airliners coming in and out of there? There is a lot of things that I am not buying lately. And the story about the man that wanted to throw a Molotov cocktail at Pete Hegseth and Scott Bissett, I don't believe that either. Who goes to the government and says, I thought about doing this against other government officials? Oh, just let me tell on myself. Does any of that sound right to you guys?
Is it just a coincidence that 8 days ago, Trump came out and said that he's going to stop hiring air traffic control workers? And he wanted to put a freeze on all hiring of air traffic control workers 8 days ago. And then today, this military Black Hawk crashes, from what the video looked like, crashes into a commercial airline, unaliving 60 plus people, 60 passengers, and 4 flight attendants lost their life, including a pilot, allegedly lost their life. Right now, they're looking for their remains, right? Or whatever they can find. And all Trump has to say is, God bless their souls. What God are you talking about? What God are you talking about? Something tells me that this was not an accident.
All right, guys, I just got home from work, and when I tell you, the reports are in the hundreds. There are so many reports, I cannot break them all down and give you specific places. So we're just going to dive in. These are the areas that are getting hit the hardest. The entire East Coast, just the whole thing, all the way up and down from Florida to New York. All of Houston, San Antonio, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago, the entire Bay Area, LA, Long Beach, San Diego, Fresno, the entire Phoenix area, Albuquerque, New Mexico, Denver, Colorado Springs, Vail, Colorado, Edwards, Colorado, Idaho Falls, Idaho, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Nampa, Idaho, Boise, Idaho, Nyssa, Oregon, and in Washington, we have Yakima, Washington, Moses Lake, Washington, Seattle, Washington, Sammamish, Washington by Creekside Elementary, Everett, Washington, Edmonds, Washington, Shoreline, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Beaverton, Oregon, I'm going to be posting a picture of the most recent map that's updated. Stay the fuck home.
Y'all, something is not adding up about this crash that happened in Washington, D.C. Y'all need to take a listen to what this eyewitness said he seen before the crash happened. And then I'm going to tell you my input on why this is all suspicious. And once again, I want to give my condolence to everyone who was affected in this tragic event that happened last night at 9 p.m. But y'all, take a listen.
Tonight, I was just with my girlfriend at the park, at Gravelly Point Park, right next to Reagan National Airport, and we were eating dinner, just as normal, taking in a nice view. And
watch what you say,
noticed the planes started having regular patterns, and they all kind of dispersed from their regular landing patterns. And then we looked up in the sky before that, and we saw these white flare.
What do you think when you saw these white flares?
We didn't think much of it. We thought they were like shooting stars. I don't know. I couldn't really explain it, but...
So y'all heard what he said, right? It looked like shooting stars. So now I ask myself, I'm seeing the picture of the plane that crashed, but I was looking everywhere for the helicopter. I have yet to see any pictures of the helicopter that crashed into this airplane. So if someone's seen it, tag me in it, send it to my inbox or anything. I'm telling y'all, I have not seen the picture yet. And then, like I said, even if it was a helicopter, how does it happen? Air traffic control should not have let that happen. It don't make sense.
You expect me to believe that a Black Hawk helicopter collided with an American Airlines flight in DC's most modern and secure airspace. An American Eagle flight that was en route from Wichita, Kansas. Does anybody know about what's happening in Kansas right now? You know, a major Chiburka, you know what outbreak? Putting that aside, I just so happened to track the helicopter's path as well before you were unable to all of a sudden. And boy, did I discover a lot of very interesting information, but we'll get to that here in a second. Do you know how many Russians alone were on that flight? And do keep in mind, no one is believed to actually have survived that mid-air collision. But I really shouldn't have to say much more considering they were Russian personnel. Now let's do keep in mind, okay, there has been reported to be 3 US military personnel that were on board the helicopter. No names have been released as of yet, but this is the really interesting part. When you were able to track the helicopter's flight path, it just so happened to originate from a very specific address. Now I'm not necessarily sure that I can name out an address on TikTok without receiving a violation, so I'm going to be putting it in the comment section below. But the current owners are the Embassy of Saudi Arabia. And when I noticed that, my instant reaction was, what? What is a Black Hawk helicopter doing taking off from that location? And does anybody remember the Las Vegas incident? Because if you don't, and you haven't gone down that rabbit hole already, I highly suggest that you do. Or you can watch one very specific video from an individual named Ian Carroll on X. You probably already know who he is. His name is Cancel This Clothing Company on TikTok. Because he actually did a full rundown on everything that you need to know about it. And if you watch that video, then you obviously know why I'm mentioning that incident. But there are numerous Saudi Arabian diplomats and scholars residing at that address. And like I stated, I'm going to be putting it in the comment section below so you can actually go check that out for yourself.
How old are you?
12.
Alright, so look, do you know why they call low-income neighborhoods the projects?
I mean, they really call it that because this is a project for corporate America.
What you mean?
If we being real, bro, the project has been outdated like since 2000s, bro. Like if we want to be real, we could deadass call it the cycle now, bro.
The name project's been outdated since the 2000s?
Yeah, they should call it the cycle, bro. Because if you think about it, they've been recycling guns and drugs in the projects for over 30 years now, bro. And I know for a fact it's people with power poisoning the projects, bro. And it's so true because the CIA used to use drug money to like fund the military, which means they don't care about the people from inner cities, bro. And it's only to keep people of color like down and out literally right after, well, slavery and segregation ended.
Alright, so look, how do you like beat the projects?
Nigga, I don't know, bro. I'm only 12 years old, bro. I just found out you supposed to put cereal before the milk.
It is very clear that the head of the snake is the financial system. The whole point of finance is to indebt, otherwise to enslave. What is a mortgage? I mean, what does that stand for? It's a death grip. So when you get a mortgage, You have a death grip held over you because you are in debt. You don't even own the house. The bank owns the house that loans you the money to buy the house, unless you're fortunate enough to have all the money to buy it outright. And even then, you can be taxed by the government. And if you fail to keep up with those taxes, the government can then take it from you. The whole system is based on a financial fraud, which effectively takes the power that we have and it gives it to a tiny group of individuals who are running the world through the control of finance. With the infinite supply of money that we have allowed them to take, they have literally an infinite supply of money, and with that money, and from their psychopathic point of view, they have bought everything and everyone who can be bought. So those of us who cannot be bought, because we operate on a level that goes way beyond the material, we are not rewarded for such behavior. We are punished for such behavior. And the most slovenly, disgustingly criminal, pedophilia, corrupt moral individuals, those are the ones that are rewarded in this system, which is upside down. We reward the pedophiles, we reward the corrupt, we reward the liars, we reward the people with no morals at all.
Although Evelyn Rothschild looks like a harmless gray-haired old man, make no mistake about it, Rothschild and his ancestors have handpicked presidents, crashed stock markets, bankrupted nations, orchestrated wars, and sponsored the mass murder and impoverishment of millions. The wealth hoarded by this one family alone could feed, clothe, and shelter every human being on earth.
Rothschild is the head of the snake. Within the city of London, there is a 1 mile square that is referred to as the city. This is the headquarters of the Jewish family Rothschild's banking dynasty that owns the money supplied through the central banks of almost every nation on earth. In November 1910, 7 of the world's richest Jewish men held a secret meeting on Jekyll Island just off the coast of Georgia to establish a central bank, which they called the Federal Reserve Bank. These men were Nelson Aldrich and Frank Vanderlyn, both representing the Rockefeller financial empire, Andrew Davidson, Charles Norton, and Benjamin Strong, representing J.P. Morgan, and Paul Warburg, representing the Rothschild banking dynasty of Europe. There were some powerful men who made abundantly clear that they were not in favor of the Federal Reserve System. Their total wealth today would be worth nearly $11 billion. These were Benjamin Guggenheim, Isidor Straus, and Jacob Astor. Unfortunately, all of them were on board Titanic when it sank to the depths of the sea. All 3 died that night. By April 1912, all opposition to the Federal Reserve had been eliminated. On December 23, 1913, after many senators and congressmen had left town for Christmas, the President Wilson signed a bill, and the privately owned Federal Reserve System came into being in the United States. After Woodrow Wilson had signed the Federal Reserve Act, which gave private interests control of economic power in 1913, he said, "I am a most unhappy man. I've unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is now controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and all our activities are in the hands of a few men. We have come to be one of the worst ruled, one of the most completely controlled and dominated governments in the civilized world. No longer a government by free opinion, no longer a government by conviction and the vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and endurance of a small group of dominant men."
The whole point of a socialistic society is to do 4 things. Marx talks about destroying the family, 2, destroying property, 3, destroying religion, and 4, destroying the nation. And what you end up with is the gulag, where the whole country becomes the Soviet Union.
Almost every movie that Hollywood puts out today must depict characters with at least one of the following attributes. 1, the protagonist and/or the antagonist are divorced. 2, the female is portrayed as dominant, controlling, violent, and/or one-up on men. 3, the male is portrayed as aloof, feminine, overly sensitive, and/or cheating. 4, somewhere in the family, at least one of its immediate members must be a lesbian, gay, bisexual, or a women's liber. Often, attributes are mixed in various proportions, and even mixed with a touch of schizophrenia, as males and females swap roles in fluorescence.
One of the big things in movies in recent years has been that the whites have almost tended to disappear from positions of being heroes, of being sort of idealized or something like that. In the place you have people like Morgan Freeman, who's cast as very responsible, moral, godlike figure, and so on. Or you have action figures like Will Smith and Wesley Snipes and so on. So you have an awful lot of sort of displacement of whites as media images in the last few decades. And whites are all often criminals. You often have blonde-haired, blue-eyed people playing criminal roles, playing people who are dishonest or weak or subservient. And the black characters being very strong, very wise. You'll often see, of course, black computer technicians, black scientists, black teachers and professors who are very wise and understand everything. Whites are portrayed as stupid, oftentimes as irresponsible, oftentimes as needing the advice of black people or other minorities. It's really the visual displacement of whites from center stage to the periphery. And I think this is preparing the white people for their displacement in the culture as a whole.
In 1933, in his first term, President Franklin Roosevelt normalized relations with the communists, and the Soviet Union was granted diplomatic recognition. The Jewish William Christian Bullitt was made the first U.S. ambassador to the government. Bullitt was later reassigned as ambassador to France. The 32nd degree Freemason President Franklin Roosevelt suggested adding the all-seeing eye and the pyramid to the dollar bill. Roosevelt also openly praised communism. Russia is far better off and the world is safer with Russia under communism than under the Tsars. Stalin is a great leader. On the orders of the Federal Reserve System and its private owners, on 5th of April 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt issued Presidential Order 6102, which required all Americans to deliver all gold coins, gold bullion, and gold certificates to their local Federal Reserve Bank. Any violators would be fined up to $10,000, imprisoned up to 10 years, or both, for knowingly violating this order. Since then, every U.S. citizen is in debt from birth and is property of the privately owned Federal Reserve System.
1933, and that was the year in November when Franklin Roosevelt, then in his very first term, recognized the Soviet Union, normalized relations. Well, this was already underway. We already had the infiltration beginning, Soviet-directed, a Communist Party directed. And what I discovered at a certain point in my research was that in order to perpetuate this alliance, to continue relations with the Soviet Union, which became really an obsession of American governments from that day forward, the American government had to learn to lie to the people and tell us lies about communism, tell us lies about Stalin, tell us lies about the Soviet Union.
Malcolm Muggeridge arrived in the USSR in 1932. He was one of the very few journalists to report on the real conditions in the countryside. For every article on the famine that appeared, 2 were published denying its existence. Muggeridge recalls the most influential correspondent in Moscow was Walter Duranty, the Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist for the New York Times.
He said, "I saw the revolutionary destruction of society as the one and only solution to the cultural contradictions of the epoch. Such a worldwide overturning of values cannot take place without the annihilation of the old values and the creation of new ones by the revolutionaries." Willie Munzenberg said, "We must organize the intellectuals and use them to make Western civilization stink. Only then, after they had corrupted all its values and made life impossible, can we impose the dictatorship of the proletariat." In his 1915 book, The Spirit of Militarism, Nahum Goldman, top-level international Zionist and the president of the World Jewish Congress, describes the Zionist method for destruction of Western civilization, which is required for transition into a new world order. The historical mission of our world revolution is to rearrange a new culture of humanity, to replace the previous social systems. This conversion and reorganization of global society requires two essential steps. Firstly, the destruction of the old established order. Secondly, the sign and imposition of the new order. The first stage requires elimination of all frontier borders, nationhood and culture, public policy, ethical barriers, and social definitions. Only then can the destroyed old system elements be replaced by the imposed system elements of our new order. The first task of our world revolution is destruction. All social strata and social formations created by the traditional society must be annihilated. Individual men and women must be uprooted from their ancestral environment, torn out of their native environments. No tradition of any type shall be permitted to remain as sacred. Traditional social norms must only be viewed as a disease to be eradicated. The ruling dictum of the new order is, nothing is good, so everything must be criticized and abolished. Everything that was must be gone. After destruction of the old order, construction of the new order is a larger and more difficult task. We will have torn out the old limbs from their ancient roots in deep layers. Social norms will be lying disorganized and anarchic, so they must be blocked against new cultural forms and social categories naturally re-emerging. The general masses will have been first persuaded to join as equals in the first task of destroying their own traditional society and economic culture. But then, the new order must be forcibly established through people again, being divided and differentiated only in accordance with the new pyramidical hierarchical system of our imposed global monolithic new world order. Max Horkheimer, Jewish intellectual of the Frankfurt School, explained, "The revolution won't happen with guns. Rather, it will happen incrementally, year by year, generation by generation. We will gradually infiltrate their educational institutions and their political offices, transforming them slowly into Marxist entities as we move towards universal egalitarianism."
Hitler's way was called the Volkseconomic. To alleviate the greatest needs of the German people, winter system work was also immediately called into being. No one shall starve or freeze, sounded the motto.
Das Usenhof am Beginn jedes neuen Winters erfüllt. Diese gefallene soziale Arbeit, sie ist mehr als ein Almosen. Wir sagen nicht den Reichen, gebt ihr den Armen, sondern wir sagen, deutsches Volk hilft mir selbst. Jeder soll helfen, ob arm oder reich. Jeder soll sich denken, es gibt noch keine. Der Ärmer ist als ich, und die will ihm helfen als Volksgenossen.
Donations were sent to the poorest in Germany's cities and mountain regions. It was a first-rate social action that had great success. The poor people of these regions then created small items such as wood carvings, glassware, etc. as token for the donations received. This earned them work and bread, and the action spurred the whole nation and the German folk to stand united. In order to provide work and bread to the millions of unemployed, the construction of autobahn began. Using only German material, the new road system was made so that it did not destroy either the German landscape or wildlife habitats nor forests. The price per automobile was between 1,350 and 1,600 Reichsmarks. But Hitler thought the prices were too high for the common family. Thus Hitler, together with Ferdinand Porsche, dreamt up and designed the people's car, the Volkswagen. This would be the most built and most economical car in the world. At that time, it cost 995 Reichsmarks, which could be paid off in minor payments. Volkswagen was a word that Hitler himself personally chose. Germany was a Christian nation, of which more than 46 million belonged to the German Evangelical Protestant Church, and 30 million to the Roman Catholical faith. About 2,500 new churches were built in Germany. Hitler himself believed in positive Christianity, and he regularly visited the church.
What was he like as a man? The secretaries, at least, found him a very friendly, charming, polite, and patient chief. He has even a sense of humor, and we never experienced any loud words or something unfriendly. And to me, as I was the youngest, he had actually more or less a fatherly behavior. I liked him, and I felt well in his company, and I enjoyed talking to him and listening to his more or less monologues.
Tatsächlich. Schaut mich so an. Das war einer der seltsamsten Momente meines Lebens. Ich habe das Gefühl gehabt, er sucht irgendwie. Der Blick, der zunächst ganz auf mich gerichtet war, ging auf einmal durch mich hindurch in eine unbekannte Ferne. Das ist so sonderbar gewesen. Der lange Blick, den er mir geschenkt hat mich vollkommen überzeugt, dass er ein Mann mit ehrlichen Absichten war. Ich kann nur eins sagen, ich bin glücklich, dass mir Hitler von seiner schönsten Seite begegnet ist. Es hat sicher auch dunkle Seiten gegeben, aber ich habe ihn von seiner wunderbaren Seite erlebt. Und das ist etwas, was mir kein Mensch nehmen kann.
The America lands belongs to people that look like me. We are the original people of this land. We are the indigenous. We are the original Indians that they were talking about. And as more of that information come out and people start to figure out there's such thing as a $5 Indian, and that the people that they said originally belong here, they now have to be sent back to wherever they were sent here from on boats and ships, we all can go ahead and start sitting at the round table and clapping our hands. Because what's supposed to be yours is being returned back to you. The harsh truth is that all we can do is sit back and watch. This ain't our fight, y'all. All we can do is sit back and watch. You see, because in order for me to return something that's yours, I have to remove the people that I said it belongs to. I have to remove them. Because in a minute, it's only going to be you and me. See, a lot of y'all is flying over your head. Your shit being returned back to you and you don't even realize it. They don't have a choice. So I expect that if you look like me, sit your ass back, shut the fuck up, and just watch. And lastly, if you look like me, learn how to do this. Learn how to... It's not your fight. We can't help everybody and continue to walk all over ourselves. The fuck?
This is in Ohio. Did you learn about it in school? Me either. You want to see some other things? This one's in Illinois. Did you learn about this one? Oklahoma, Louisiana, Georgia. You know, honestly, stop me when we get to one that you did learn about in school. This one's really cool. This one's in Iowa, Texas, Alabama, Indiana, West Virginia. This one kind of is giving me a Teletubbies vibe. no offense. It's just, look at the shape of it. I mean, anybody else? Anyway, this is North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Minnesota. I like this one. Here we have Mississippi. This one is Kentucky. And this one, I think it's Arkansas. I might be wrong about this one. But my favorite one of all, the crown jewel, Serpent Mound in Ohio. Why did we not learn about this in school? Are you kidding? Look at the man for scale, okay? Look at why didn't we learn about it in school? Like, the more that I find, the angrier I get. Because what were we doing? This is amazing. This is something everybody should know exists. Did you know this existed? I found out this existed when I was in my early 20s. That's a shame. And honestly, looking at all of that really just makes me want to dive into the indigenous culture here on this land that I occupy, because everything that I've learned so far has been absolutely beautiful, and I want to know more. And it's truly a shame I didn't get to learn about it in school like I should have. But that's America.
You said back in the day, they always said it was two free people, the white man and the black woman.
That's right.
What that mean?
If he decided to go somewhere and take his black woman with him, wasn't nothing nobody could say. He going out of town, he take the help with him. He wasn't just taking her with him. But you don't see him getting on TV, going back 30 years, and getting the white man for raping the black woman, but you hear him going back 30 years and getting Bill Cosby because the white woman said he raped her, and she went to his apartment and she took the pill he handed her. He didn't make her take it. But we didn't have no choice.
Oh my goodness. That's what that means. Thank you.
You was a help. You was on the only help. And the white woman lost time to do what he was doing, but she didn't care. But she probably didn't want him no way. She didn't care long as she sat up and they didn't have to turn her hand.
Right, because sometimes back in them days, white women just, the marriages was arranged and they just got somebody to, to help with their bills or create a life for them. That was it.
And he go out there and mess with black woman. The man say somebody put a bullet in his brain.
So it was a lot of white women traumatized too.
Yeah.
White women
they couldn't say nothing.
They was getting beat up and stuff too behind
closed doors. But they were getting killed too, but wasn't ever nothing done about it. I asked a white friend of mine one time, a young white friend, I said, why is it on TV is so many white men killing their wives? He said, Vera, he said, they did that, always have did it. They just now decided to start getting. So they've always did it. They did do something they didn't like. You see a grave, who was that grave out there? Why, how she died? Died in childbirth.
Oh, man.
Anything, yeah. Baby come black, you buried out there too.
Oh, man.
Every day I'm on the move, I can't say the same about you, nigga. You snooze, you lose, nigga, that's the golden rules. We are not the same out here on the block. I'm trying to get this money, nigga.